Meepo and Brewmaster. Like, this hero was pretty much nowhere to be seen, but he banged it out and got a dub on it. So, you know, the Japs has a really big hero pool, and should be careful how you approach it, because a lot of the times you'll see Talon last picking his hero for a good reason.
Yep. And Fear, one of the things we've seen Talent Esports do better than most squads at the tournament is how they utilize the first pick, which they do have this game yet again on the Dire side. If you're Team Liquid, what hero are you most afraid of removing from the pool with Talent having first pick?
Oh, that's one of them right there, the Snapfire. Number 2 is going to be Undying. And something that Gaiman insisted on banning when Talon was first pick all 3 games was the Batrider, I recall. And I think that's something you just kind of got to let through in these games and find a way to deal with, because we've seen this Snapfire, you open up with Makoto, it gives him that late game security to the point where Savage all of a sudden is like, I could play a Monkey King, Makoto's going to back me up in the late game. Or he can be like, hey, this is a good Faceless Void game, now we got Faceless Void plus Snapfire, so get rid of that. And then Undying, we look at Savage's top 4 heroes, Medusa, Terrorblade, Morphling, Faceless Void. These are the hardest carries in the game. Undying enables every single one of those, so they're not going to hesitate to pick Undying here, I think, just so they can get Savage that later hard carry with the most stable laner in the game in the Undying.
This one's an interesting one, because last time they met, Talon did ban Clockwork 2 out of 3 games, so they really are afraid of Boxy's Clockwork for a good reason. There was one game where Boxy got the first blood, got like Orchid early on, and just put a ton of pressure on the map with his build. And they're giving him the respect for a good reason. Now there's a lot of OP heroes left in the pool. Dirge, aka Undying. Io's also available.
Recién está empezando el juego, vamos a verlo desde el futuro.
Talon doesn't play Broodmother.
Ahora sale una predicción para apuesta.
What the hero can do, especially against Talon. So let's see if Team Liquid wants to maybe lean towards it.
And the last time they played was 3 days ago, and in that series they actually played Undying 0 times. It was banned twice in the second phase, so cool to see the meta evolve since the last 3 days.
This was snap pick. This is like instant. Like,
yeah, I mean,
you know that they practice this one.
You just Jabs anti-mage here. This is a situation not many teams have really been into. Jabs, he can play the anti-mage. We saw a Dream League. He was winning with it. It looked good. This is by far the best offlaner versus Medusa in the lane. As long as you compare him with the POS 4, that is quite strong. And I think this is very
Medusa es bastante buena porque Talon tampoco ha jugado mucho. Bueno, fuera de sacarse al Elder Titan.
But Talon has to make a choice because they have not yet to do this tournament, I believe. Is it going to work here? Is it going to work?
Talon no juega Shadow Demon.
I love how the meta is shifting,
con el
it's evolving. We all knew they were going to Undying. We didn't know how Liquid would respond to it, but Liquid did know they would probably pick a hard carry on that 8 slot.
Talon va por el...
We're just going to pick the hardest carry right away here. If you want to play your
Talon va por el anti-mage de Jabs, ¿no? Va 1-0. Muy bueno porque Jabs está jugando buenos semi-carries de off. No necesariamente lo va a jugar 23 ese anti-mage.
I mean, it's a cool development because AM has been played one other time this tournament and it's banned 27 times, and that's basically every time that somebody picks Medusa in the first phase. They're like,
Undying anti-mage es otra línea fuerte igual.
Dangerous it can be, and still picks it saying, okay, let's try your AM, let's see if we can beat you. But I think it makes sense because Medusa.
Más el Undying anti-mage pueden ir los dos offlane.
Almost all games that she's in, she does okay in the mid game, and late game she's just always the queen.
I think one of the reasons why we haven't seen anti-mage as a response to Medusa is because Medusa has mostly been picked on 8, so there was no time to respond.
Mentioned, it got banned almost every single game.
Es muy picante eso. La Medusa tiene cierto timing de minuto 20 con Butterfly ir high ground, pero...
It has counters, right? The counter list is low. Darkseer is banned in the first phase, so that was one
Para
of
eso tienes que presionar mucho al AM.
The big 3 were the Shadow Demon, the Darkseer, and the Anti-Mage. And normally when you pick Dusa there, you see all 3 of those gone here. But Talon, I don't know. I kind of like what Talon's cooking here because this Medusa we have seen, it's normally been in perfect situations where it has a perfect lane. The lane, there is no Anti-Mage in the game. There's no Darkseer. But now there is going to be one of those heroes that can make Medusa look really bad. And now the onus is on Talon to do just that. They need to make sure this Anti-Mage makes this Medusa look bad. Because this matchup isn't actually that good for Anti-Mage in the late stages of the game. If Medusa's free farming, gets that fast Butterfly, and all of a sudden this offline Anti-Mage isn't going to catch up.
bit.
But if Anti-Mage is off to a good start, like this matchup, I've seen the games where Medusa is just like, just get me out of this game. I want to start a new one. He gets the like Vanguard, Power Treads, Diffuse the Blade. You don't get to play the game.
What's interesting about this Anti-Mage Purge is that they played it 3 times historically for
Gracias
Jabs.
por el follow.
3 times in Dream League, twice against Team Liquid, and they won both games. So they must be well practiced at this
Saludos,
point.
Easy,
Yeah, I
¿cómo
mean, Jabs
estás?
is one of the first players I believe that
Bienvenido.
started playing offlane AM, so he's kind of the perfect player for this moment on that. And you talked on the pre-show about Jabs playing weird heroes. I actually feel like that hasn't been the case the last couple series. He's been playing traditional heroes. He's been going traditional item builds. So I'm like slightly paranoid that this is going to bring out Jabs' inner wild self. He's like offlane AM and it's justified. All right,
puedo
guys,
entrar
I'm
al
gonna
Dota
do it.
TV.
Maybe it'll put him on the back
Otra
foot
vez
and
el
like
bug.
take him off of his like conservative play path.
If there's one guy at this tournament that likes to play carry from the offlane, that's definitely Jabs. So he's like, I'm good to go. You know, he's ready to play, especially against Medusa. If this is going to be offlane anti-mage, as probably should be, I want to see Q on some like playmaking position for something that can secure this lane for anti-mage, because Undying's not really a playmaker. And also Mikoto, I think he doesn't need to be greedy in this one, because you're going to have 23 playing some of the carry. You'll have offlane as well with the anti-mage, so anything that can make space from Mikoto from this mid lane. So I think like heroes like Temper Assassin, they're out of the option.
Yeah. And I think if you
Pango.
are Liquid right now, we talked about the offlane possibility.
Otro pick
Zai
deny.
has played this before. Dusa is no stranger to 7.33, right? And if you put
Sí, bien
Talon in a
jodido para el
situation
anti-mage.
where they pick another carry too early, I think you can flex to this offlane Medusa. I think people are going like Flactory, Travels,
Supongo
like
que-
Aghanim's,
estaba ya
just
Lember.
playing more of a utility role instead of playing the hard carry role. And then if you have an offlane anti-mage that's not even fulfilling its
Era un
purpose
juego
of
de
shutting
Ember
down a
para Talon.
Medusa, that could be a mistake. So I want to see Talon just wait with their carry pick all the way to the end. But Liquid, they do have the overall last pick, so bans are going to be super important for Talon here, and I think you just need to save your carry for as long as you can on Talon.
I see no stuns. I see no control from Team Liquid. Heroes like Quap definitely comes to my mind. Storm Spirit's banned out. But I can see like anything elusive from the mid lane. Matchup against Pango should be good.
A lot of people like
Primal
Storm.
Beast is also
Storm's
there.
banned, never mind.
Yeah, Primal Beast. We've seen the interaction against Pango. Looks really good. There's literally nothing that can
Puede ser
stop
Wind
Primal Beast
Ranger,
from
¿eh?
charging in.
I can't help myself. If this was the Chinese region, they would be picking Wind Ranger and buying Diffusal Blade through the mid lane just to double down on the magic. burn into
Triple
the
down,
Medusa.
yeah.
I just am not sure that it's necessary. A lot of teams have been playing against me. Obviously, they'd rather play AM, but they've been playing some agility carry. They fit a diffusal in, and it looks fine, like adequate. I don't think you need to go all in. Like, I think if Talon was able to get Pango in this position, they would have definitely done it, because they're like, okay, well, it's good with Diffusal Blade. They don't need to do anything weird. I think with the Wind Ranger here, I don't even necessarily think they have to buy Diffusal Blade. They can, but you can just go damage items, and that plus AM, I think, should be enough to deal with the Dusa.
Well, the Mikoto hero is going to be coming out. He has won a spectacular game with this hero already. And focusing on these bans here, obviously Talon removing the heroes away from the side.
I think it's time to shift this Medusa to an offlane right now, because you're playing into Shadow Demon, AM, like Wind Ranger potentially with the Diffusal Blade. I don't think it's necessary, but it feels like it's a rough game for Medusa.
Yeah. They got 2 out of the 3 heroes that counter Medusa.
Talon
the
está
hardest
ganando
in
mucho el
Dota,
draft.
being Shadow Demon, Anti-Mage, Darkseer luckily banned, otherwise they may have taken that as well. So it's not going to be... So Medusa's going to get tested this game, let's put it that way.
Un
The results
Alchemist.
of Medusa will be tested
Alchemist
here.
puede ser.
Is it that good where it can play against every counter in the game and still succeed? Is it a possible flex pick? These are things we haven't seen from this hero yet this tournament, but these are questions that they're definitely asking themselves.
I love the line pick, though. Lockdown against AM and Wind Ranger is really necessary. It'll make it a lot easier for them to get kills. You have to be careful you don't get spell reflected, of course, but I think Lion is perfect for the circumstance to set up kills for Boxy.
Yeah, let's see how Talon approaches this next banning phase.
Pues no tenían
because they gotta
disable.
figure out where Medusa is gonna go.
One thing I love about the line pick as well here is that because they have second pick, it still hides where the Medusa is going, so they can decide later on in the draft what to do with her.
I think what's really impressive as well, yeah, you can hide where the Medusa is going, but even if it is their carry, they have a really good lineup of enabling just one really farmed Medusa. And I kind of look at Talon's heroes, and I just compare the 4 heroes, looking at the left and right, and the left heroes look a lot scarier to me because like you have a lot of single target on Talon right now. Anti-Mage single target, Windrunner single target, Shadow Demon single target. Then you have like this massive AoE teamfight lineup on Liquid. So Talon might be going a bit too deep, and as we talked about, trying to counter this Medusa, where their lineup doesn't look like it can take the fights very well, and it brings a lot of questions down to, can they make Medusa just shut down so hard to the point where he can't get to these timings? Because if it was a 5v5 fight, I'm going to take Liquid's lineup at the current point in time. And if I'm looking at Talon's lineup, if they pick another carry on top of this, carries generally don't solve that issue for you.
So let's see, Underlord gets
Lo de Talon es súper reactivo, bro.
Talon, one of the few teams left that have played that for Jabs. Jabs just
Pueden
played
abusar el Shadow Demon.
Enigma getting taken out by Talon. So if we do need more team fight Sherlock cost, what stands out to you that Talon could go for, and maybe can they shift this anti-mage to a carry?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, looking at the ban from Team Liquid, they banned out Underlord, so there's some possibility where they feel like Underlord would give them exactly that, a little bit more of a global presence. Into Medusa, I feel like there's a good chance to pick up hero like a Tidehunter, which would solve some of the issues. So you have like team fight, you get Anchor Smash on top of Medusa, like you build into items that Medusa doesn't like your Initiator, you build into Heaven's Halberd later on, if this is going to be the offlane Tidehunter.
Sí, el Tidehunter se ve bueno, como
Zai
dice
has just been
la
focused
cosa.
to hell and back. My god.
Yeah.
Talon showing just massive hate to this guy.
If they want to go with like safe lane hero, another hero that comes online really fast that gives them team fight on Talon, I think
Bandieron el Tide.
hero like Monkey King could work, but there's a Tidehunter that we mentioned, just a bad matchup against Medusa, and until Medusa gets like Silver Edge, and then you can actually burst him. So Talon, they'll need to reveal where the heroes are going to go.
Yeah, the team fight lacking is making me a bit worried for them, and their disable as well is just not good. It's Shackle Shot, so if they do jump on Medusa, like her ability to land her, to start her ulti is pretty high. She can deal with the zombies easily. If there's a Tombstone down, you can hit Tombstone. They do go for the Monkey King though.
I mean, I like that mainly because I think their pick here, if they wanted to win this trade, it has to be a hero that can do well versus Medusa offlane as well. And this is a hero that can do that. They don't have a good lane for Medusa now. Medusa will have to lane into a Monkey King Undying in the offlane. Sounds a little rough, right? And so now they guarantee that they get the Anti-Mage versus Medusa matchup, which is what they really wanted. And I think Savage's hero had to put in a situation where like, no, don't put the Medusa in the offlane. I'm going to scare you off.
Well, there's the last summons hero remaining for Zai in this tournament. Everything else was banned out against him. Does get his Beastmaster. This gives him some vision, gives him some single target, gives him some much needed hard disable into some of these heroes as well. What do you make of this purge when you see this coming out from Team Liquid?
I mean, it's great for their death ball. They're insanely strong.
5 héroes baneados de
Aura,
Zai.
Beastmaster, Aura stuff, and the Dusa. It's mostly going to be about don't let them stun Dusa, jump on her with AM, burn her mana, and kill her within that like 1 to 2 second window. That's the dangerous thing for Medusa. If they can avoid that from happening, save them with glimmers or force steps or whatever,
Talon
and then turn
debería
the fight,
ganar
they
mapa
should be able
1.
to out DPS for sure. Like Dusa is going to be able to shred them if that initiation doesn't happen.
I'm looking at the saves inside of Talon. There is Grab Ally, later on with the Shard, Shadow Demon with the Disruption, so these two supports will need to be taken out immediately. You know, Pango with the roll, some long distance swashbuckle, Hawk from the Beastmaster, but overall, I do like Talon's draft because they feel like they can play the tempo, and I feel like Monkey King's gonna have a really good game.
Yeah, what do you think, Fio? Does this Beastmaster enable Medusa even more?
Yeah, of course it does, but everything's going to be about the early game. In this one, Talon has to do so well in lanes.
Well, Talon Esports have shown that they've
Sí,
adapted
si Talon
their
pierde la
playstyle to be
línea,
able
fue.
to play better in the early game
Pero-
and make sure that they can scale into the late game without having to recover their matchups. Before we get into the game itself, let us hear directly from some expert analysis, not just from us, but from one of the coaches who's standing by with Jenkins.
Hello, here we are with Blitz. How you doing?
Hello, not bad. Been nervous.
This is just about the most countered Medusa that I've ever seen. That's like 4 counters, one of them being an offlane anti-mage, and you're still running it as a carry. Are you insane?
A little bit, but you know, sometimes you gotta take big risks to win big.
I don't know if you've answered this in an interview before, but when you walk on the stage, you slap the stage. Why do you do that?
I don't know, it's just for me. I started doing it around TI, and it's just a way for me to wake up and kind of be like, all right, you know, this is us. This is, we're playing here like our court kind of thing. So I liked it, so I keep doing it.
So you guys, last time you you played Talon, of course, it was a very close game. Do you Do you guys have the mentality that like you lost that game? Is that how you're thinking?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think that one was a freebie, but you know, these guys are super talented, so you know, they probably deserve that win, but hopefully, you know, they get another chance and we have another exciting series.
Okay, well, I can hear that the game has started, so thank you, Blitz. I appreciate it, brother. That's the wrong hand. We'll go ahead and send it
Talon
to
gana.
Sunsfan and Kazoo.
Talon debería ganar mapa 1.
Liquid versus Talon.
El pick de Shadow Demon sobre Deuce es súper jodido para mí que...
Kazoo, how are you? We can talk about ourselves for a minute because it is a pause. How are you doing?
Doing great. I'm looking forward to some good Dota, as I think the panel touched on a bit of the draft, but I was at this stage in the tournament, sure, one team may have a slightly better draft than the other, but all of these teams have proven that it doesn't really matter. They're all good enough to win some of
O sea, realmente no le importa si Liquid estompea las líneas y juega agresivo con la Medusa, no debería importar el Shadow Demon y lograr el minuto 20 del Butterfly de la Medusa, pero si Liquid no gana las líneas, cometen un error, GG. Talon debería ganar.
Probably so are Talon.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring it up because yesterday the games went super well.
Yo creo que el mapa 1 para Talon son como 4 counters de Medusa.
45-50 minutes per game just to get a game started.
¿Cuánto está pagando? A ver.
Obviously, Talon in that last series, they got about as much sleep as we did. So will that affect them? Like, have you been in a situation as a pro player where you just didn't get enough sleep the night before?
Most certainly. I mean, the other thing is, I don't know if Liquid have changed that, but they hate early games.
That's
like
true.
Waking up early, so hopefully...
So it's even.
I guess it's even.
Son buenas cuotas.
And maybe they were even watching that game last night anyway, right? They obviously would have been.
At least some of them, or at least to some extent. So overall, I mean, both teams are going to have a long day ahead of themselves, especially the one that's going to win this matchup.
Oh, yeah.
To then play the finals later against.
Voy a meterle sus 10 solcitos
I think regardless of the matchup, what the
Talon, mapa
is
1.
going to be a really cool series because I mean a lot of storylines with Liquid coming from the lower bracket if they were to win this to face off against Spirit again, and then Talon getting an SEA team in the grand finals of such a prestigious tournament. I mean, has that even been done before? Has SEA ever made a finals for like a huge major type tournament?
I feel like
so.
SEA's best major placement was that Fnatic at TI6. They
Was
got
it like top 4?
Top 3, I think.
Top 3, okay.
¿Qué onda con los lobbies de la
So,
Riata?
either way,
No funcionan desde
SEA
ayer.
very hungry for
It's
a
about that
tournament
time.
victory or even just a grand final appearance. And we are underway now. Smokes on both sides. Let's talk about the lineups because Jenkins brought it up. So did the panel.
Por el follow.
I was convinced Medusa would be off lane, which I guess either way it's countered, right?
It's a pretty counter Medusa, but this is another thing where I think the Pango, Lion, and Beastmaster come through pretty nicely. So Lion is going to counteract the SD counter a little bit because you can just zap away the Illusion Slayer with Hex and also the Shard Mana Drain. You have Pango to help out with the team fight and Beastmaster, of course, to try and help Mickey like through this mid-game timing. But Talon have played this anti-mage versus Medusa countless times. Maybe even the most out of any team.
Yeah.
So these early laning stages for both side lanes in both lineups is like incredibly crucial.
So we should, let's talk about the anti-mage because it's only been played once in the entire tournament, which is a little bit surprising to me because this was like the counter to Medusa when she was beyond broken.
Yeah.
Now she's just
broken.
Kind of broken.
Pretty good, yeah.
But yeah, being able to first do that and then ban out whatever the hell you want to protect your lanes. We'll see how this works out for Jabs and company, but you're right. It does feel like it's going to be a tough Medusa game.
It is just like the nature of the longer tournaments go. Like even yesterday we saw Spirit open up like Faceless Void on 6-7 as well, where Medusa was not really picked on first pick or 6-7 like this, but Liquid going into this game with a strategy. As Talon will get to bust out the first offlane anti-mage against Medusa. Last time this 0-1 it was played as
There's 3 members of Talon here trying to get a first blood situation. Insania does not quite get blocked by the disruption. Good attempt from Talon. Go through the gate to be able to reconnect with the lanes properly.
Le he apostado a Talon primer mapa.
Images of himself. We'll live through the day. So, okay, again, back to the anti-mage.
Yeah.
Because it is the cool here. I cannot believe I'm calling anti-mage cool.
Offlane anti-mage is cool.
Yeah.
You don't have to feel bad saying it.
Do you buy Diffusal? Because that was a thing for a while.
You can. Like so you're gonna go for like some Wraith Band Vanguard, and then you kind of go from there. You check if you go Treads Manta, or maybe you want to go Treads Diffusal if you want to go for some crazy good mid-game timing.
No todos tus
But I do think
QIs,
that
o
Liquid
sea,
were aware that this AM can come out, because AM's first few
puede
minutes of the
pasar
laning
cualquier
stage
cosa.
is incredibly important, and I think that's also a big reason why
Igual
you
dejo mi
cover
link
it
por
with this Elder
si
Titan.
Right. Yep, ET, of course,
quieren
always
apostar.
going up in popularity the deeper you
Les
get
duplican
into
la
tournaments,
recarga.
because he
Si
just
se
gives you
recargan, les
so much
duplican.
space. And Roche
Hasta
control,
300 soles les duplican.
just massive team fight, and of course dissuades the other team from picking
Y
agi heroes
si
in a
ya
lot
han
of cases.
apostado
We will be seeing
y
a
quieren
market example
recargar
from 23 Savage,
con el código chill,
but
les dan
yeah, we'll see how
20
the laning
soles
stage
por recarga de
goes for each
60
respective
soles.
team, because I mean, do you think one team or the other needs to get off to a better start, or do you think the drafts are close enough that it's not as crucial?
They're pretty close, and it is important for both teams to have a good start, but it's more like if one team has like one very decisive side lane, like I would say if this anti-mage dumps on this Medusa down bottom, Talon are in an incredibly good spot. And what Liquid need to try to have happen for them is that bottom lane goes like somewhat even, or maybe they win it, but the one I'm looking at is Zion as Beastmaster. Like this hero in your early and mid game, he is gonna be your carry if he has a good early game, because he will help you with all the towers, help you push the game forward, help you take Roche. It's 23.
Yeah, wanted to go on Boxy, but Boxy
Brian
felt it inside him. Yeah, the boar
is dead.
Mr. Brian has died. Pet number 1, I believe. As I'm seeing a lot of default couriers in such a prestigious tournament deep inside. And you know, all these players have a lot of money. It begs the question, why have they not purchased any cosmetics for these couriers?
Yeah, maybe then they wouldn't kill them so often.
That's
because
true.
they would
They
care
want to
more
protect
about it.
the little babies. That's Makoto. Haven't really talked about this lane, but the Wind Ranger versus Nisha on the Pango. And relatively even right now, 12-5 to the 11-2. I do think, okay, let's say if you were the captain of this team or the coach for Talon, would you buy Diffusal on AM and Wind Ranger, or
No.
neither, or one of?
If you buy it on any, it's like your Monkey and AM, but I think one of them is enough. I don't think you need it on Makoto.
3 Diffusals.
You don't need to buy the few. I mean, you can buy 4 if you want. I do like, you want a bit more lockdown. You want this Atos, Gleipnir, so maybe some mid-game BKB as well on your Wind Ranger to kind of just keep it going. Where also one thing I need to mention is Makoto in the matches yesterday, and maybe all the last matches before as well, he's been popping off. Like multiple 10-0, 8-0 games, so I'm also looking at him to maybe, try and push forward.
Yeah, he's been destroying. And you can see Q. This is another pseudo counter to the Medusa. Maybe not so much at the moment because the illusions are not super powerful, but the more stat items you buy, the more powerful those illusions will become inevitably.
Yep.
And you kind of can't, I mean, there used to be an old strat where you would just not buy stat items. You'd buy just right-clicky, BKB type things. I mean, we kind of see that
Gracias,
a bit
Naim.
from
Go buy
Medusa, but
rapiers.
yeah.
Sí, sí, o
The
sea,
fact that you get the
de
mana
acuerdo con
shield
eso. Igual,
inherently now
yeah.
makes it a lot different, I feel like.
I mean, they did kind of look at it with the covering of
el
Boxy. I
editor
think it's gonna be his job later to make sure
dejó
that
fuera
Minions
algunas
doesn't get
cosas
destroyed
que me parecen
by these
importantes,
illusions.
pero
Because I
o
would
sea,
say
el video
all 6
completo
cores
de
in
ese
this
análisis sí
game are
está,
pretty happy. Like when you
sí está totalmente detallado, ¿no? Pero el video completo no le dejó enlace, ¿no? Pero sí hay un video más largo. Ese es un edit.
Alan's perspective, obviously they did play against Liquid the other day, and it was,
De mi YouTube.
I know it's
búscalo.
been talked about to death how that transpired. Do you think that this experience is going to help them in this best of 3? Because so far, in the 2 best of 3s they played since, they have crushed. Like, it has not really been that close.
I feel like it can only help them, especially after they played well. After what happened to them, I think it only made this team stronger, like some anime power, as I've never seen this. Insania spawned his spirit and ran it through the twin gate, and now it's coming from top back to bottom.
Yeah. I thought we saw that this tournament.
We did?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. That's some nerdy stuff. I love it.
Yeah, he's going to get a ton of damage. Of course, he can only do it so often.
He
You
also
want to line it up with the creeps as well.
yeah. He did spot out Ollie, who's making a nice move down bottom. Of course, the
84 damage, good.
5-minute moves with the siege creep. It's also nighttime. You've got the blood grenades going as even 23 Savage. We've got the whole family down here.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Insania, not able to actually utilize that extra massive damage. So Talon wasting a bit of time trying to chase him out.
This is definitely very good for Talon. Like, if you have a small opportunity down here where Jabs gets to farm more than Mickey, or like he gets to speed up his Vanguard, like once you have it, you can slowly bust out this Medusa out of the lane, and you can already see Mickey. He's kind of going back and forth.
6-minute rune. Nisha is going to use his ult to secure the Arcane. Well worth it.
Pretty damn good for him as he gets the Arcane rune. So he's just going to be chilling a little bit, and I would say Zai as well. We saw this yesterday, or let's see. Helm of Iron
stacks
Will.
are up along with the Tombstone. Blood Grenade used as well as Boxy TPs in to control 23 Savage. So not really a very good attempt here from Talon.
The Helm of Iron Will this early on, it just does a lot for Beastmaster. It like more than doubles your armor as well. So Zai going to be A-okay up here. Nisha probably going to be waiting for his next ult with the Arcane rune. And that was one of these first tier 1 towers. Like, this is another reason why Pango is so great with these summon heroes. You can easily rotate up top and maybe help Nisha take this Talon tier 1 safe lane tower later.
Yep, as the 7-minute wisdom runes are about to spawn. And ooh, Insania trying to go for a steal.
There's a disruption, of course.
Yeah.
Lots of TPs.
Couple TPs, so Insania is spotted, won't bother trying to get that wisdom rune. He's going to get surrounded. Echo Stomp coming, but canceled by 23 Savage. So making the rotation over.
First blood.
7 minutes. First blood. I actually forgot that you could kill people in Dota until now. But I think this is something that we do see in these like extremely important games. Yeah. Teams are just a little bit more passive early on.
That's 23 with a nice TP. I wasn't too sure if that was going to be worth it, but does get himself the first blood. Of course, this does open up the top lane a little bit for Zai, which we touched on earlier. But he's been having a phenomenal tournament, and Beastmaster, if this hero gets off to a good start, he is
Sí, sí, es cierto. Semifinales, finales siempre son puro draft.
Scan connects at the very end.
Yeah, true. And you can see the rest of Liquid now on the way. This might actually turn into a little mini fight. And smoke from Insania on the backside. Q will end up popping and get some vision now. It is nighttime as a lot of damage being applied to Mickey, a lot of mana drain as well, but Nisha coming in with the Rolling Thunder, Echo Stomp, and now the save from Q. And Jabs will be able to blink away. They will be able to kill the Tombstone,
Stapler.
and Q will go down to the briefcase, man. It's all business here for Insania. They bring a lot of heroes down here, so they only get the 1 kill, and Talon get nothing out of it.
It's honestly good. Ooh, 23.
I may have spoken too early. 23 Savage getting control. Boxy's going to die. Focus fire onto Nisha as Ollie making his transition over as well. Swatch to the other side, but they find the vision, and Makoto's focus fire continuing on. 23 Savage pretty low, but he gets off the Wukong's command, and Nisha does drop with the help of the power shot. Now Insania looks to be next. Mana Void doing exactly 0 damage, it looked like, as the double kill comes out for Makoto.
Big moves by Talon here. It looked like Liquid were going to have a great smoke down bottom, right, to help defend the tower. Well, you have Zai pushing up the top lane.
Level one Mana Void is one of just an awful spell.
Yeah, it's
Truly
pretty
awful.
It's pretty awkward, right? If you get it on the Medusa later without the mana, that's pretty good. But I love how Talon are playing, like this fast pace kind of tempo. I feel like in the last few days we've seen a bit of a switcheroo when it comes to the early game. Lots of twin gates, even from like just your carries. As both these teams, they play a lot of Monkey King. They know what's up.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool to see that. I mean, this patch has been out for quite a while in terms of not like the letter patch, but the big patch, the new Journey patch, or whatever the hell it's called.
Está yuca para Liquid, ¿eh? Está yendo Domination, Overlord para abrir líneas, hacer Roshan en 18.
The top and bottom, respectively.
Oh, Talon off to a good start.
Me sorprendería si Liquid gana esa partida.
Le
había metido apuesta a Talon.
I don't know if they're coming or if he's close to them, but either way, like Medusa being kicked out of the lane earlier now than perhaps usual, with on top of the nerfs, like now your split shot is only level 2, so Mickey is going to have to...
Muy versátil lo de Talon. Sí, pues sí, es verdad.
So he's too unhappy, but still hurts this game a bit.
When you pick an offlane anti-mage, and we kind of see this
Cada pick de Talon ha sido muy bueno, muy preciso, lo del mono. Los 5 bans a Zai. Le quitaron todos los offlaners de summons a Zai. Dejaron el Beastmaster contra Anti-Mage, que es como que el peor matchup.
Could you look at that as a negative aspect of the lineup that Liquid can try to take advantage of?
Well, kind of, but the thing is,
Lo único que puede usar Liquid es el Shadow Demon. Ese support es débil. Lo pueden abusar. Si llega late game, el Shadow Demon ya se vuelve fuerte.
Because he has the magic resistance, the Vanguard. And I mean, this is where Liquid will have to push forward later with the Beast and Medusa. Like, I think their minute 20 to 25 will be stronger than Talon, even if they're slightly behind.
There's a Helmet Dom onto Zai, of course, going for the eventual Overlord. And he's having a very good game, like you talked about. It's important for Liquid that he does so. Top 2 net worth right now.
And I think that Talon know this, which is why they want to smoke up there. I do think that Boxy was kind of pinging it out, as currently he's trying to pull the lane back to give Zai a better position, then maybe also break the smoke. I mean, at least for now, Liquid are reading this move. Like, they know you need to destroy or try to slow down this Beastmaster from minute 10 to 15. So good job from Liquid reading the smoke.
Indeed. Atos now picked up by Makoto, and that's exactly what that smoke was designed to do, is find somebody and kind of reveal the new item from him. It's been a very popular item on a lot of mid heroes.
He's just so good on his
By a lot, I mean
heroes.
Windrunner and Snapfire.
I mean, I guess Meepo.
Yeah, true.
Even don't know what happened to that hero, but he certainly died off a little bit.
Yeah, it felt like he was having a lot of success early in the tournament, and then
he was the talk of the town,
so
and then
much.
he just kept getting dunked on.
Yeah.
El parche que va a venir desde balance.
For that hero to be able to survive.
Seguro nerfean más a Gladiators.
Yeah.
Game slowing down a little bit in terms of pace here, as the active rune will come out once more.
They're
Of course,
fantastic.
minute 12 here. Nisha's a little late on this. Even 23
Regen
here.
rune for Makoto. Still has a shield rune activated. Very slow-paced game to start.
Liquid are fairly happy with the state of the game. I think if it doesn't go more out of control in terms of the net worth, if they can get more levels and you get to this Helm of Overlord, you get to the Diffusal Blade timing, and you kind of try to force a Roshan fight before Talon gets some of their core item timings, I think they'll be pretty happy. Even with a slight net worth deficit, your tempo and pace later is going to be really strong.
And then for Talon, what's their game plan? Are they waiting for, I'm assuming some BKBs are on the way, or at least trying to be developed here?
I mean, they're still quite far away from some of those. I would say when you play the offlane AM like this, you're looking for more skirmishy fights, like 2v2s and kind of 3v3s. Maybe around this nighttime, you can look to make another one of these smokes with Makoto. Maybe you get the AM in there and you try to invade somewhere. But I don't really think they're necessarily on a big-ass timer themselves on Talon. It's just more about making sure you get the most out of the map, since Liquid are kind of just doing the same.
And from Talon, it actually, BKB is a bit of an awkward item, because there's Roar, there's Stone Gaze, there's Earth Splitter. But you kind of have to get it against a Lion and Pango.
I think Talon, there's the smoke that we touched on. They did also bring jabs into this one, so I do like it. He's also drawing out that if there's a fight, maybe you guys should come over with Monkey and SD.
Yep, Zai, I believe he's spotted. The boars reveal themselves, but they find the Elder Titan first.
Tombstone.
Shackle into the focus fire. Tombstone placed as well. It's going to be an easy pick-off onto the support. Obviously, they'd rather have gotten Zai. So I think Liquid not too sad about that happening.
Both teams pretty happy with that. You get to use your heroes with Talon, your Atos, you get a kill, you get some experience, but at the same time, Liquid get to protect the king of the game right now, which is Zai on his Beastmaster. Triple stack Ancients. So, I mean, we said it in the laning stage, but even now, all 6 cores are incredibly happy in this game. There's only 500 difference between number 1 and number 6.
How often do we say that?
Never. Barely ever, I think.
Both teams seem to be okay with just trading. Just farm. Okay, you farm here, I'll farm there. We'll do a gank occasionally to kill a support, but everybody else is very happy.
Yeah, like here it's more about, so both teams are fairly happy with the state of the game, but it's gonna be on Liquid within like the next 4 or 5 minutes, or in rather like 3, 4, 5 minutes, to speed it up and really like just pressure up the pace of the game.
We're gonna have a smoke from Liquid onto 2 members. It's gonna be, I believe, the Diffusal reveal.
Yeah, and a haste rune as well on the Nisha man, who's queuing up a blink next. I do like that. You want to have the counter team fight around the game. Into all these illusions, the Monkey King, the Anti-Mage.
Man, both teams so good at knowing when these smokes are out.
I guess if you're Jabs here, you probably just go Manta style. Like maybe you just make sure that you can continue to play the map here if you're Talon, and I think you just try to go for the scale. If you, let's say you all in some Diffusal Blade, I could see that idea as well from Jams, but then it kind of means that they're going to be looking to fight in the next couple minutes, and I don't know if that's going to be that easy here into this Liquid draft.
We might finally have a push here onto the tier 1 mid as Liquid have the Helmet Dom creep. Or is that an Overlord already?
I think that's Dom. He's close to the Overlord. As Liquid, we've seen this plenty of times now, kind of around the time where you would like to go Roche. You try to take the enemy safe lane tower, you try to take the enemy mid tier 1.
Warlock debería
Now they can
volver.
slowly rotate back up top. As it is nighttime, Roshan is up here.
You missed one objective when you said all that.
What did I? Tormentor?
That's right.
Ahora puede ir
Yeah,
Roshan con
50-minute
Sai.
Tormentor, guys.
4 minutes away.
It's Torment
We're
time.
close.
Manta,
Manta is
Overlord.
picked up now by Mickey.
Ya Liquid tiene todo para pushar
Echo
Roshan
Maelstrom is
y
going to
tier
be the
2.
choice here by 23. It's going to help you play the map and help you with some of the scaling as well. Jams did queue up the Manta style, does now have the Yasha, so it is, I would say it is quite clear how Talon will want to play this game. You're going to have a Tricore, you're going to look to scale, and Liquid, sure, you're not too happy if the game drags out, but you're hitting some of these crazy timings where you're going to want to shut down the map a little bit, take some outer towers, get his first Aegis on the map.
And Mickey will be going for a Butterfly next.
It's going to be a good one.
For the side of Talon, Jabs, of course, again, if you're just joining us, offlane AM. We'll be going for Manta himself as he's going to blink out just as Nisha uses the ult. So no connection found, and again, just dodging fight after fight. And it's not just Talon. Liquid has been doing the same on the other side.
It's not the easiest for both teams to kind of catch each other, right? You can see that they're playing very well on the map. They're evading moves. And Boxley doesn't have a blink yet. Nisha doesn't have a blink yet. So once those come out, it will help them. But Talon, probably fairly happy with just what's happening on the map, right? Jabs continues to farm top. Dodges all the rolls. But here, you've got the 70-minute Roche from Liquid. And it looks like Talon are looking to TP. This is a hard contest for sure. So you're going to have to bust out some really good gameplay here.
Yeah, they don't have Pango roll, they know that, but Roche already at half HP thanks to Zai.
I mean, if they surprise them, there's no Mickey here.
Yeah, that's true. Power shot's gonna reveal everything. Are they actually gonna stay in the pit? Will they commit to Roche? No. They're gonna back away. Flesh Golem pop by Ollie. As a Swash not really gonna connect on anything here, as the fight kind of scattered. So both sides just very hesitant to actually commit to anything as Mickey does TP in for a Roche off on Roche #1, which is not that common.
Well, so Talon are delaying this fight. I would be surprised if Liquid back off here after all of it. Flesh Golem was used. Tombstone is actually on cooldown as well, so...
Yeah, and now Nisha will have ult in 5 after all that.
It's still on Liquid to take back the area and try to take this fight. I do think they are stronger, so let's see how Talon will respond to this one.
Smoke from Liquid, trying to find somebody. Just one pickoff might even be enough as Ollie getting slowed by Brian the Boar. Echo Stomp is there, and down he goes to the Black Dragon.
Looks like that will be Roche, but I just love some of these plays. Like, even for Talon, this is not a very high percentage play, but there's definitely scenarios where if you catch Liquid slip in there, you can catch him by surprise and maybe take this Roche, but either way, you only lose one guy. Jabs goes straight back to bottom, Makoto goes to mid. They're both happy, and Liquid, they get themselves those Aegis.
Roche #1 going the way of Liquid. Aegis on Tanisha. And he's got a blink, so, I mean, I would assume that that means they're going to want to fight. A lot of times we see the Aghanim Scepter after the Diffusal for the mid lane Pango, but opting to not do so. So going for the more Initiator route, utility.
Both teams playing on each other's wards. Sneasha,
oh, you steal a token there? All right.
Easy token steal. As I do like that you're going for the blink here on Nisha rather. Like, you have some of the scaling already right now, right? You've got the Beastmaster who's very strong. You have a super fat Medusa as well. It's more on you, like, to really try and catch Talon around the map, because they're still incredibly happy. We've talked about their scaling. It's not really ending Ollie.
Yep, he's spotted and killed very quickly.
Lo del off sí es importante, pero no tanto que se defina, no sé. En realidad se ve más que los equipos abusan de alguna debilidad del rival, ya sea los supports que no tengan movilidad o... También he visto esos picks de Snapfire. Snapfire no funciona prácticamente sin Clockwork o con Sky Shadow Demon, esa partida del
because I feel like other than the AM, like we've seen lineups like this before, and the aggression has just
De los picks de support con el medio que no tienen sinergia y GG.
But also the nature of the lineups and the fact that you're just playing against some of the best players in the world. Like Talent tried to go for more aggressive plays, but Liquid dodged it, and same way, kind of the other way around.
They've been reading each other like
En general viene siendo muy parejos en los cuartos, incluso en el draft, solo que al final es un equipo que como que comete un error o bajo su level de Dota un toque en cierta parte de la partida.
It probably should, and I think also since SD purchased a strong Dispel, it should take off Hex from Lion, which is pretty damn good, and overall just having the heal too. Because you have heroes that want to go in and they want to stay in with the AM, with the Monkey, with the Wind Ranger. I like what Liquid are doing though. Speeding up the pace of the game, you're getting close to Mickey's Butterfly as well, and just slowly but surely gaining more map control. Because Talon's tower damage is not really that great.
Yeah, I think the Demonic Cleanse is just a basic Dispel, so I don't think it's going to do anything to Hex.
Then it will not do that.
That would be
pretty
unbelievably OP. That would be like a Photic
Talon
shield
está haciendo bien
constantly.
amagando las peleas.
And then a heal after the fact. Butterfly from Medusa. So, Mickey, I mean, he's not going... He didn't go Scotty, so I'm actually very interested in what his next item is going to be, because he does have to worry about the AM eventually.
I mean, you could just go all out. I could see him go for like just straight up damage, because if you want to speed up the pace of the game, I think you could do that with just like some crystal.
El tema de ir Butterfly contra Shadow Demon es que el Butterfly también bufea las ilusiones del Shadow Demon, le da evasión. Así que está ahí, está medio jodido si no la acaban ahorita.
The Silver Edge or straight up Daedalus, but we'll see what he thinks. Surely he must know better than me.
Tier 3 already at half HP. Liquid.
Porque en late Talon debería ganar Talon.
Is there for quite a while on Nisha.
Estaba esperando la BKB del Monkey. Porque apenas entre a divear, le van a meter Primal Roar y voltearse a matarlo.
And honestly, if you manage to win this one decisively, it puts you in a really good position.
And they place down the Tombstone to slow this down as well. As you can see, Jabs was pushing the top lane, gets his BKB, so I think that is probably go time for Talon. They're going to lose their tier 3 tower. Their Rax is exposed. Tombstone eventually falls. And there's the shot for 23 Savage. Gets a roar off onto him. Looking for the Wukong's command. Finally will come out as Nisha going to the backline with the Rolling Thunder, but the disruption will save him. 23 Savage getting finger, but he's going to be able to walk away as Boxy goes down to the focus fire. Jabs really deep. Gets off his BKB and will not die as a result. So after all that, one kill on a support. But Talon do defend.
Well, Talon get to hold. Okay, it looked a little bit dicey actually. It's 23 in that fight. He did drop kind of low.
Jabs went really deep. I assume he tried to assassinate Mickey.
He went like mega deep. I think he was on the supports at first, and then he was.
Sí, esperaron la BKB nomás. La de Anti-Mish y el mono. O sea, no hubiera tenido BKB. Es la clásica, ¿no? Le hubieran hecho Primal si hubieran volteado a matarlo. A pesar de que solo hayan matado a Lion, es una victoria para Talon. O sea, lo importante es que defendieron el high ground. Y el Shadow Demon nunca le sacó copia a la Medusa. No podía acercarse, estaba bien chalequeado.
23 doesn't mind going BKB here, as he does need it for the fights, but I feel like maybe Jabs wanted a little more out of his first BKB usage, or hopefully before the next fight he can squeeze in his own Manta style. Because he will be a menace in this game if he does get to like Manta Skadi or Manta Basher.
Oh, I thought he had Manta. Okay, so he switched it up to get the BKB first.
Like they were all inning this defense.
Oh, Gleipnir finding Zai. Shackle shot is there.
His BKB's flying out.
He gets Demonic Purge as well as Makoto getting beat down by Gilbert the Golem. Here comes the Rolling Thunder from Nisha. Not finding any connections yet. As 23 Savage ready to go on the trees. Looks like they will find the Undying. So Ollie will take a fall. 3K lead for Liquid.
Got a lot of big items once again. Zai's got the BKB. You have, Mickey has got his Dragonlance. It's going to help you with some more high grounding early stats, and the Crystal is queued up next. There's a 3K lead on Radiant, but in terms of their strength, I think this is more... Oh.
Sania dies randomly.
Oh, nice play by 23. Like getting this kill and cutting this wave right as Liquid just want to run down mid. Really heads up play.
Zai, you can see he's TPing to the other side.
Oh, they scan him out.
They get a Hawk coming out here soon. They get the axes. There's the Hex. 23 Savage is
They
too
got him.
deep. Gets punished for being... Oh, did he pop BKB as well?
That looked
Yes,
like it.
he did. Oh my goodness. All right. Mistakes made from
Buen
23
scan de
Savage,
Liquid.
all to
La
assassinate
escanearon.
the position 5 Elder Titan.
Well, look good until Liquid just kind of have the read that, you know, they want to keep farming, split pushing. He's going to be here, and they do catch him off guard now. 4-kill lead, and I don't really see what stops it now from going up the high ground. Even if 23 respawns, right, they must have heard the BKB.
Yeah. I do believe they did. Now BKB up for Makoto. As yeah, I don't see what's stopping them. I mean, they don't have the Aegis, but they can definitely poke. Surprised they're not going through the mid lane, though.
Well, I guess the summons are going through the mid lane as
Yeah,
Gilbert whacking away.
He's doing a serviceable job for his masters. 5K lead for Liquid as yeah, now the Monkey King is back.
Gilbert.
But, oh boy. That's a full focus fire just for the Golem. Down it goes. 250 gold away of Makoto. But they know this BKB is down, at least I assume
Qué picante la partida.
See if they try and fight on the Liquid side.
I mean, there's a way where you just play the map cleanly here, at least for Liquid. You're going to hawk up Roche and see, you know, the moment it spawns, you're going to force a fight there again. Because your Roche fight is still disgusting. You've got the Bongo Boots on Insania, you've got all the Beastars. And Mickey, even though he's playing into counters, I would say with his item timings and the heroes he has around him, it doesn't matter that he's countered, because they need more items on the Dire side. You need MKBs, Manta Styles. Even 23 is queuing up a Diffusal Blade, so they're really going all in to try and win this one fight later in the game.
It is a pretty late spawn from Roche. Just under 2 minutes now. And Talon, they're going to smoke up and try to take a fight, which they haven't been able to take any fight yet. Closest to that was that high ground defense that we just witnessed. It's Mickey.
They see Mickey.
He's actually alone, but does have teammates in the jungle. Oh, focus fires there. Mickey gets off the Stone Gaze. There's the Shackle to connect. But now the teammates are able to come by as Jabs getting off his BKB, but the roar from Zai is going to be used onto Makoto as Boxy getting pursued by Jabs. That's going to be the first here to likely die. He does drop Wukong's command on the backside. Going to get canceled. Going to use it now. Finally, Rolling Thunder from Nisha. Not going to be able to connect too much. Gets out the roll-up, trying to kill off Jabs here as 23 Savage doing a ton of damage. They kill off Mickey, they kill off Zai. And that's going to be a buyback onto the Lion as Jabs trying to get more out of it. But
Puta,
this
qué
is
buena
an AM. They need the
rotación,
Monkey
weón, de
King.
Talon.
They will be able to get Insania as well. So a big fight for Talon.
That's 4 kills and a buyback as they will eventually, or...
Uy, ¿qué hizo el Lion, man?
23.
Decay is
No.
there.
Looking for
But
another
Battlestar
dieback.
finding Boxy as
Para
well. This is
qué,
going to be a
Boxy?
dieback for him. And just like that, Talon winning this fight handily. They didn't lose anybody.
Oh, they got 5 kills out of this fight. Now you have the Diffusal Blade on 23. You're getting closer to your next item on Makoto.
Ya, eso estabiliza el juego de Talon.
Could go into an Abyss Blade if you want to be really sneaky. Nisha is barely going to try to get out as Talon just catching Liquid off guard there. Like, if you just have these few seconds to stick onto Mickey, you've got all the mana burns, great shackle from Makoto.
Yeah, Roche is going to be up in 10 seconds. Will that be enough time for them to take it without Liquid intervening?
I guess there's an ET spirit. I do think Talon would
Puta, y
love to start.
ese one de Jabs era la
set up
llanta
the area.
baja.
And Sania getting ready to
Ahora está
get to that side of the
capitaneando
map.
Gozu ahora.
So
Pretty
they
fortunate
will
for
know.
Liquid that this is a late spawn.
They will have the Hawk Vision there as well. So Talon, after this last fight, they must feel very good about the fights that are to come. So I would certainly expect them to contest. This will be a Roche off.
Q on the other side. The Swash not gonna hit anything. And now into the pit, Liquid goes. They have the vision advantage with Astral Spirit, with Hawks, with everything. We hear the Rolling Thunder going out there, trying to take out this AM so that
Roar.
Medusa
Good
can actually do
disruption.
something. Nice disruption for the save, and Jabs gets off his BKB. Now trying to kill off Box, but it has to blink away. Gliding onto several heroes. They're going to lose their Shadow Demon to start. Trying to get off the Wukong's command is 23 Savage, but he gets hexed. He gets stunned.
So much damage.
Doesn't have the damage. He pops his BKB and dies right after again. And now Makoto trying to do as much as he can to Nisha, but he's going to have to run away because they are completely outnumbered. And Jabs, oh, they find him trying to TP out, and he gets destroyed. And Liquid, now that Roche is on the Radiant side, will try to get down there as fast as possible to secure their second Roche.
Oh, Boxy carried that fight so nicely. The Hex on 23 before the Wukongs comes out with the late blink on the high ground to also find Jabs on the TP. Because this looked good in the start for Talon. Like, Jabs gets out there using all their spells. You could maybe disengage. But Nisha finds Q here on the sideline, and here Boxy coming in clutch to just keep the fight going.
And this is the second time 23 Savage pops the BKB with like 50 HP and then just dies. Very unfortunate for Talon.
Very back and forth game as here Boxy finds him with the high ground blink. And this is second Roche into Liquid's hands. They needed this.
Yeah, so Aegis, again for Mickey. That's your high ground offensive.
Boxy carrió Gosu ahí.
Snake Lady Woman.
And the cheese is going to be on Nisha this time. Well,
did
this time being the first, because it is second.
That is true. This time around, oh, it could be Torment time on the way to the high ground.
Is it up?
It is up.
That one already. Oh, it's
Mika
already
did
respawned.
swap his item build to a Linken's against this Mana Void or potential Shackles, so we'll
They're not
see.
going to bother, knowing Liquid.
That's true. I mean, you want to go into this high ground. You're up 5k, you've got this
No
Aegis.
activó la
I don't
BKB
like-
23 para
Well,
entrar.
Jab being spotted by the Hawk.
By Harry the Hawk. Slightly
Down the
out
sentry.
of range.
Yeah,
It's actually on the money.
Right, man.
Nope.
Oh, okay. You're just in the
The
tree line.
hitbox of Harry's too big.
Hitbox the Hawk. That's his name. There's the Shackle onto the Black Dragon, which is doing a lot of the damage here to this tier 3 tower. Pop the Lincolns as Mickey. Still feeling very safe at the Aegis. They take the tier 3 and now focusing on the barracks. 23 Savage and company definitely want to try to contest this. Disrupt
Jab's
on
in the
Mickey.
back.
Jab is
That's a
already
very
there.
early BKB.
Super far back. He gets roared in the BKB form. 23 Savage trying to get up Wukong's command, but he's going to get destroyed again. That's 3 dead.
GG. ¿Qué tal draw de Talon? No era necesario hacer esa jugada. Caso, qué pepes. Mi plata. No era necesario hacer esa jugada. Solo era push. Botar los creeps con el Shadow Demon.
He's got no BKB. Even they're just leaving the creeps to finish up the racks.
¿Qué fue
Got a
eso?
buyback on your SD, but that's about
That's
it.
not going to be enough. As the Illusions will take out the second, and yeah, Liquid are
¿Qué
going to
mierda
get
fue esa
mega
pelea,
creeps.
weón?
No fortification in sight for Talon. And it feels like it's just several team fights that 23 Savage just not being able to get off his Wukong's command. And even if he does, he's super low HP and they can just burst him down.
I mean, Liquid are pressuring you into these fights, but if you're Talon, you probably would rather try to smoke around and take this fight instead of just fighting from the front, blinking in with your anti-mage. But now, that may have been your last fight of the game. I mean, they are holding for 23.
Yeah, they're trying.
Lo pudieron haber hecho, pero esa pelea fue mala.
Yeah, Daedalus for Mickey. This is going to be even harder as the first tier 4 falls. Mickey and company resetting a bit to get these items in their inventory. But again, Aegis has 2.5 minutes. So much time for this second life.
They can just keep going. Talon here, ooh, good Hex.
Yeah, disruption is there. Nisha get us off the Rolling Thunder. 23 Savage is going to get stunned eventually. He's there. The Echo Stomp going to connect. They're going to be able to take out Makoto immediately. No way to get back into the game. Stone Gaze
No pueden
doesn't
matar a
matter.
Boxy.
GG's called. And Liquid, in very
Está
sudden
tilteado Talon.
fashion, just win this game, number 1.
This is what I love about Pro Dota and Tier 1 teams. You pick this Medusa early, it gets countered. Instead of shelving it somewhere else, you pick heroes that will enable it to still win the game, because they played these timings really damn well. I do think Talon were in a good spot, but definitely messing up 1 or 2 fights there in their defense.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that, I mean, you just said it. I'm going to repeat exactly what you
Let's
just
go.
said. The fact that you can first 2 pick Medusa, they pick all these counters and still win, that is, I mean, first it was ballsy to do that.
Yes.
And to actually execute successfully, pretty damn impressive in Talon. Gonna have to rethink their strategy. I mean, the game was really close throughout, and it just feels like 2 or 3 fights in a row where like 23 Savage or somebody just can't initiate properly, they get bursted, and that's the fight.
I would say it's slightly easier for Liquid to fight at that point, but if you're Talon, I would say going into the next game, what they will have to focus on is when we have our timings, how do we actually want to fight? Like, when is our actual timing? Do we need to smoke around? What do we need to
O sea,
do?
Liquid jugó bien sus timings nada más. Y Talon hasta las huevas la última pelea. No tenían que haber salido a pelear, solo push. Solo botar la creep wave. Y les faltaba un poquito de items nada más.
Number one.
A sudden and swift end to game one puts Team Liquid in the driver's seat for this lower bracket final. We wind up in a situation where although Talent Esports were trying to play very fast, very aggressive in the early game, unfortunately here, as is often your prediction, Monkey King unable.
Fue mal focus de Talon también. No metieron focus a Lion. Las peleas que ganaron, el Lion murió primero. O estaba controlado.
All their eggs in one basket here, trying to shut down this Medusa, and they forgot to check the other boxes that a good draft needs, and they just didn't have the team fight. They didn't have a lot of things that you would need. All you have to do is like try and all in the Medusa here, but this Medusa has lots of stuns to back it up, as we saw Boxy, Nisha, and Zai both protecting this Medusa throughout these team fights.
Yep, and Purge, one of the issues that we saw in this game for Talent Esports, although the anti-mage could deal with her a little bit in the laning phase, throughout the game, didn't really feel like you could feel Jabs' impact on the entirety of the game.
Yeah, it's harder when the enemy team groups up as 5 is basically what happened. I mean, Team Liquid did a great job avoiding ganks on their Beastmaster early. Elder Titan died for one of those ganks. And then
¿Qué fue esa última teamfight? ¿Por qué Jab saltó, loco? Se viene la repetición.
I mean, Team Liquid did a great job avoiding ganks on their Beastmaster early. Elder Titan died
Ya los habían hecho
for one
vaquear,
of those ganks.
weón.
And then they just did this like death ball thing with all 5. So yeah, if Jabs is on top of Medusa and hitting her when she's stunned, it's a great opportunity to burst her.
As.
But if the whole
For that, because I think a lot of the teams would just crumble under this pressure.
Grave
because
error de Talon.
in the last 3, 4, 5 months, this has been, a pretty bad matchup for Medusa. And one thing I really liked about this is Meke. He really stepped it up as Medusa. He bought second item Butterfly, which gave him evasion. Then your Monkey King Anti-Mage. You know that these right clicks, they're not gonna get
¿Y él
through. So this
le
is a big
ganaba a
item
Talon?
timing. Then
No
he
sé, ¿ah?
had Dragonlance as well, had Crystallis, understands the matchup, doesn't want to build a bigger mana pool, instead just wants to have damage and the big timing go together.
Si no cambia radicalmente el parche. No sé si así sea cualquier parche, pero esos son los mejores teams. Así les pongas cualquier parche. Son los que más se han adaptado y han entendido el meta. Así le des cualquier parche, hubiera sido lo mismo.
In a way here, Fear, do you think they maybe got debated on the side of Talon into over-focusing on countering the Medusa?
Yeah, I think that's basically what this draft was. Makoto, he went all in. They went for the Shadow Demon, also all in. And then the Anti-Mage, and they just ended up with a lineup that wasn't well-rounded. And this can work. You just got to win all 3 lanes. But we saw once you group up with the auras, play around the Medusa, it doesn't really matter. You hit that butterfly timing, and the game is just way too hard. And Medusa now being bumped up all the way up into the first phase, not on that 8 pick, but when on second pick, teams are picking it. I don't remember the last time Medusa has lost a match in this playoffs, if it even has happened. So it's getting scarier and scarier. Is this hero just going to get first pick now after a game like this? So like, it's getting pretty crazy.
Yeah, I believe so. I think we might see a situation where team just like straight up first. If they have first pick, they take
Francom
Medusa. And that's
18
it.
dice
'Cause,
Peluchillín cuánto
I
se
don't know,
demorará
like,
en la siguiente
we've seen
partida.
prioritize in
¿Cuánto se demorará?
until you have the 8.
Break ese
After
10
seeing how
minutos.
things played out so far at Riyadh Masters, I would not be too surprised. And one thing that Blitz said in the pre-game interview, like after the draft just started, like you have to risk it to make it big, and they kind of risked it here and they made it.
Yeah, it's always cool to see that risk happen in the best of 3 because it completely changes how the day goes. Imagine if they get ganked like 1 or 2 more times in that safe lane when they dove the tower. Medusa gets behind, the Medusa starts getting solo killed. The day's different, that strategy's gone and Team Liquid's like, all right, we got to do our second best strategy. But now the fact that they won with it, on the other side, Talon's like, do we have to now first phase ban Medusa? Do we have to try to do this ourselves? It's a really spooky situation to be in down like this.
Yeah, I was just want to say real quick, the only game that Medusa's won in the playoffs so far was when Aster played against 9 Pandas. That was it.
Damn. That's
One game.
Only one game lost in the entire playoffs. Well, it looks like Medusa is going to be the carry hero of the entirety of the playoffs, certainly of Game 1 here in the lower bracket final. And of course, that does mean that the STC play will belong to Team Liquid. Let's take a look. This is the engagement that really did solidify the fact that Team Liquid would end up winning the game. This is around the Roshan pit. If they can win this fight, Purge, maybe you can mount this comeback, but it's a little bit too hard. Their team fight tools aren't there in the same way Team Liquid has.
Yeah, but they defended the anti-mage really effectively. That part was nice, and then after his BKB gets popped, it's kind of like, oh, these three heroes are wailing on me, and there's not much solution, so he has to disengage. Boxy plays an incredible fight. Keep an eye on the line there. Already was useful against Jabs, now useful to help kill the Monkey King. Just playing the outskirts of the fight, ready to go. Pangolin had Defiant Shell here. As a result, very, very tanky, more armor than normal, which basically just means that at this point, Team Liquid gets to pick up the stragglers once they're down a carry.
What a blink.
And then Boxy finds them too.
Yeah, Boxy, what a player. Honestly, one of the things we've seen in comment here, the more we've gone into this playoff run, Lacoste, hasn't just been this Medusa looking very strong, but Lion, my goodness, what a hero in the 4th position.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, we've seen a lot of openers coming out from like different teams in the upper bracket where they're like, you know, Lion +1, Lion Beastmaster, Lion Darkseer. It feels really good. And I don't think we've seen it throughout this game, but level 15 talent on Lion where he gives mana to Medusa, probably something that they like looked into as well, but we haven't seen it being like really used, but something to have at the back of your head, just to have that a little bit of oomph.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about that line as well, it was really good against the Shadow Demon too, because you make 2 illusions of Medusa hard to kill. Line gets the shard, kills both of them right away, so even made their 5-man even stronger.
Yep. One of the things we have seen in the tournament in the playoff bracket has been that when you have first pick, you have some strong carry hero on your 8. This time around, Jav went for the anti-mage purge. Could they have done better if, let's say, they'd gone for the 23 Savage Terrorblade, for example, something that could help them fight and have a good lane with that Underlord, with that Undying?
I mean, it kind of helps them fight, but it's not the best fighting carry if you have an anti-mage offlane and a carry Terrorblade. Terrorblade basically has to go sit around and hit creeps for a while before he gets maybe Scotty timing or something. I think it would have been just a little bit too dangerous. Like, I don't think they would have had enough tempo, and I just think I don't think it would have been that safe.
Well, game 1 not necessarily a very safe game for Talent Esports, and they find themselves on the back foot, hoping to try and recover the series against Team Liquid. The upper bracket matchup did end up going the distance, so they have some pretty good options. They definitely know they have what it takes to take Team Liquid all the way to the 3rd game. Before we get there though, we do have an audience sitting around enjoying this lower bracket final. To that end, let's hear from them and how they're enjoying this matchup with Jenkins on the ground.
What's next?
That was awesome, guys. Thank you. I'm here with some Talon fans. Hello. Who are you?
I'm Ian from the Philippines.
And you?
I'm Russell.
Where are you from?
I'm from Philippines.
All right, let's
Hell
see.
yeah, there's a lot of Filipino fans here supporting, actually a lot of them supporting Liquid. A lot of them supporting Talon as well. And we're going to play a game. It's actually not a game, it's very serious. We're going to do some therapy, or sort of couples therapy sort of situation. Because I think Talon, I think there's some PTSD situation coming on here because of what happened last time, and because they just. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna keep going. You guys are the therapists, and I'm gonna be Talon, and you tell me what you would say to try to get me to calm down and relax after that game. Okay, you guys good for this?
Yeah, it's good.
Good. Okay. We picked 4 counters to Medusa. 4 counters, and it didn't do anything. What am I supposed to do? I feel like I'm losing control of my life.
I think you just have to ban Medusa the next game. That's it.
So you're saying it's my fault? I need to ban Medusa. I shouldn't have let it through.
Yeah, you just ban it. That's the only solution to that.
If we can't beat Liquid when we are throning them, if we can't beat Liquid when we have 4 counters to Medusa, how are we going to beat these guys? They're the bane of our existence, man.
No, actually, not every time that the plan is, not happening according to our plan. But since we have next game, I think we can come back.
Very good.
We just need to think positive on any negativities happen in our life.
All right, that's a good therapy line. That was a good one. All right. That may be a little more PMA. Okay, we're gonna go some final PMA stuff here. I need a battle cry for Talon to hype them up to win game 2. A therapy battle cry that will remove all that PTSD right out of their systems.
Let's go, Talon!
Let's go, Talon.
Let's go, Talon. Let's see a game 3, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the panel.
even if you're not a fan of Talon Esports, we certainly would like a Game 3 out of them so that this lower bracket final is as hype as humanly possible. Second game played by Mickey on his Medusa, thus far undefeated at the Riyadh Masters. We need an answer. Is the answer potentially banning it out, Lacoste?
Potentially. We don't know who's going to have the first pick in this one, but I would not be surprised if Talon does have first pick and they just snap pick the hero immediately. Because this seems to be the hero of the tournament, nerfed, by the way. 4 or 5 times in a row, still in a pretty good spot, I would say.
The top carries did get nerfed as well, so it was like Medusa was like good before, then the Morphling was like outrageous, and now Medusa's again kind of top carries what it feels like. And it also just feels so good in like the ultra late game. It just takes a lot to deal with her. Her rapier team fights are just better, and we see so many late games because of the nature of the tournament where teams are less likely to like all in earlier, and it's just the best late game carry, it feels like.
Yep.
I think like a few years back, like even through Dota history, when you had like Spectre, Anti-Mage on the enemy team, just by playing against these two heroes, it always felt like you're a bit on a timer. Like it feels like if it goes to the late game, there's something in the back of your head where it says, you know, we're gonna lose this late game if it comes down to that. Like this 50-60 minute games, you know that these carry heroes like Faceless Void definitely up there at this tournament as well. So maybe try to look to get that Faceless Void online.
Yeah, one of the things I'm a big fan of here is how teams play with experience, right? Talon Esports, of course, the most experienced team at playing crazy late game situations. Liquid didn't let them get there, but Liquid also extremely experienced in these lower bracket final scenarios. So Talon Esports, what should they do to try and make Liquid uncomfortable in this high pressure scenario?
Well, it's going to be difficult for them to do that because I think Liquid, as you mentioned, they've been in this situation a lot, and they're normally the ones emerging victorious from this situation where Talon have yet to get into the grand finals like this. So what can they do to make Liquid uncomfortable? Well, that's a hard question to ask. I think what they're mainly going to have to focus on is just like getting their drafts right. I think they kind of got outsmarted in this one. I think them Nisha picking up that Pango right out of the face there while banning the Snapfire really put them in a situation. They realized if you play this off-lane anti-mage, your mid needs to be some type of team fight, and they couldn't get that into the draft with a limited hero pool.
Well, we're going to see if Talon Esports has what it takes to create a situation that's favorable for them as we enter our second draft of the lower bracket fight. Game 2, Team Liquid versus Talon Esports. We are not going to be having any change up in the side order or the pick order purge, so a run back, but Talon doing the right thing. Medusa, get that hero out of here. Not going to see her in Game 2.
And that's the other hero that I actually thought was a big problem last game, was the Beastmaster. He was able to go a boar heavy build last game because he was against Monkey King. He needs to slow him when he's being attacked. Normally you max axes, you clear stacks, that kind of build. But the fact that he was able to go boar, max out his aura earlier, just meant that he made the Medusa even stronger last game. So if I ran it back, I'd be like probably ban Beast second phase.
5 bans on Azai's heroes in Game 1, Lacoste, and it still didn't help. He still gets to have an S-tier performance. Is it even worth banning out his heroes at this point?
I don't know. I think you just might need to protect some of the heroes. I think coming into the draft, you shouldn't be thinking too much of Azai because like he's gonna have a good game no matter what. It definitely feels like it. He's gonna find something in the bin. You know, he's gonna bang out some of the hero that no one has played out yet and be godlike with it. So it's very hard for you to just focus on Zai, but this also leaves, like, I think Lion plus, again, Darkshire is going to be highly contested in this first phase. Of course, Undying, it is up there. Dirge, always a guy to look out for.
Let's see what Talon do if they do go for this Undying. We haven't actually seen Darkseer in the last couple of days, have we?
It's getting banned a lot. Last game was banned first phase, but it's in the pool this game, so we'll see if the team picks up.
Second best hero against Duso, so it makes sense they're going to ban the first phase. It's kind of nice that they could just put it under the radar, like, oh, we're just banning Darkseer in the first phase, no big reason.
I mean, it's also because, like, as I talked about before, I think if you think about it, Liquid was really methodical on how they did that. They really limited the team fights that could come from potential lanes, like no Darkseer, big team fighter against Dusa, Snapfire, no team fighter, and then the Pango, which is also good against the Dusa, they picked right away. But we're going to have a completely different draft here as Talon will get their Storm Spirit first pick, just straight up.
Yeah.
See what counters you can bring out if you're Team Liquid.
This makes sense to me, Lacoste, because in the last game they banned Storm Spirit in the first phase. This time around they pick it to make sure they don't give it to Liquid. But like you say, Darkseer Lion comes out. Which do you feel better about right now?
I don't know. I just like Darkshire Lion. It's not like the best pairing in the lane. It's not your Earth Spirit Clockwork that goes in and you know, uses that Ion Shell, but it's a really strong lane and it does shut down because Darkseer's anti-carry hero, Lion's
Perdieron
anti-mid
Dusa,
hero, pretty much.
Beast.
Yeah, I
You
could-
have all the bases covered.
I can give a little more insight on this and how these teams
Ah,
are
ya,
thinking
es que
right now.
dejaron pasar
They're
el
trying to
Darkseer.
limit that hero pick coming out. Like, if you pick Darkseer right away,
Storm
it's stopping the
Fele
Naga,
Void.
it's stopping
Peruviano
the
Phobos dice,
Terrorblade
¿sabían
right away,
que una
too. A lot of these
chupadita
heroes
al
have
príncipe
Savage
árabe
Olympic
no
there,
iba a
and they're
fregarle
forcing
el
them into
arco
a
de
Faceless
anime
Void.
de mi
But
bro
then they
23
already have the
Savage?
Lion, which is good against the
Sí.
Faceless Void, already prepped up. Because Liquid knows exactly, that's how you play second pick now. You have to take these risks. Like, we know what you're going to pick. We're going to preemptively counter it. Are you still going to do it? Most likely, because you got this far doing these strategies.
This Lion
Storm
feels like it's
Void.
actually extra premium here, Purge, against the Faceless Void and the Storm Spirit. If you're on Team Liquid, if I'm Boxy right now, I'm just smiling to high heaven.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely really helps. With that said, Void is pretty good against Darkseer in the lane. It's not as easy to get that kill. You can pressure him a little bit, but he has some heal offsets, so it's still a great opening for Liquid for sure, especially how Boxy played last game.
Looking at like if they need more control from the mid lane, it's also a good Meepo game for now. I see Faceless Void, I see Storm Spirit. You can easily run at them. Not
Does
sure if
Liquid
that's
play it?
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay.
there was one game I believe where Nisha played
Nisha's
it.
on Meepo, okay.
Dragonite as well, a hero that Team Liquid
Es verdad,
loves
es
to
un
run
buen juego de
because
Meepo.
you need a lot of damage. A lot of the times you need to bring that third
Para
hero to
Liquid.
kill Dragonite, especially if Dragonite's being played from the mid lane. Not too bad of a matchup against Storm Spirit. Faceless Void always, you know, will go for different targets, so should be looking good for Liquid. On the
También
side
es un
of
buen juego de
Liquid, they
Londru.
banned out Keeper of the Light, also one of the better
Pero
heroes. to
ahora-
the
ahora que hay-
tournament, has so many good combos.
ahora que hay
Banned
Darkseer,
for Storm Spirit, we've seen,
es un
like,
buen juego de
Io,
Lesh.
not play- Talent
Darkseer
not
habilita
playing Io,
demasiado
and Wonder
Lesh
kinda
y el
dead
Lesh
now,
fuerte
so
contra
that makes a lot of
el
sense.
Storm y también holdea bien a la Crono. Madero Titan, tema de la armadura.
Sure, these two heroes by themselves individually have been
Sí, es un buen
having
juego
good
de
games,
Lesh.
the Faceless Void and the Storm Spirit. But
Puck
when you put them
también.
together as your first two picks, they suffer the same
Pero
weaknesses.
Insania
Like some
juega
buffers,
Rúbico
something
Disruptor.
leashes, stuns, disables are quite potent against both these heroes. So you're going to see Liquid come out with a lot of heroes that have very high lockdown.
I like when Oli supports them with the silencer, like Faceless Void when he goes in, Storm Spirit as well. It does
Diracho.
allow
Peruviano
your
Phobos
Storm
dice,
Spirit to
tienes
have
que
a little
decirle
bit
de
of a
nuevo
free reign in a
chilling.
team
En
fight
comillas,
because you'll always have
Diracho
something to
Carrea.
back him up. And overall, really good hero against
Diracho.
Lion. Like Lion can't really itemize until the later stages of the game. Maybe get some like BKB, some A on this, whatever, to be more survivable.
And the other supports they're maybe thinking of on the talent side would be Rubik and Tiny. But that basically rounds out their staple supports that they go for every game, and Liquid will ban one more here before they're forced to pick.
The other one I'm looking into is Enchantress because of the spell mechanic. A strong laner could secure the lane for Faceless Void, and again, you're laning into Darkseer. Even though teams don't seem to care too much about it, it's still a good counter.
That's a good point. They actually did pick Enchantress out of the first phase against Quest when they played Darkseer. So
I mean, I just want to take a minute to appreciate Liquid a little bit and how they've been drafting, because we've been here for a long time. We've been watching a lot of drafts. We've been watching how first pick has just been clowning all over second pick. But what Liquid has been bringing to the table coming into this series, they found a way, in my opinion, to make second pick look pretty good. They're putting Talon in an uncomfortable positioning here just by reading the meta ahead of time, and I feel like no other team has been able to do
Ah,
this.
piquero al Enchantress como pick deny.
They stole Pango immediately out of the first phase in the second pick, and now they took the Enchantress. So they really utilized this second pick.
We're going to get some burst damage into this bubble, as well as one of the most successful heroes at the tournament. Legion Commander emerges. 25 games, 72% win rate. Looking pretty solid in general.
Can I cope here a little bit?
Of course.
I want Mickey to, you see on Team Liquid, channel his inner Matumba man and pick Lone Druid. This is the best Lone Druid game I have ever seen with my own two eyes. It is so good, but the hero nobody really wants to play. You're playing for Storm, Void, Legion, Sky. It is hard countering all four of them. I don't know if he will pick it. There might be better options out there. Maybe the hero's just not good enough.
Es un buen juego de Londruid, pues.
I'd be a big
Tienes razón.
fanboy if they did.
Meepo, Londruid.
0 wins, 2 games.
Lo otro
Sadly,
es...
the teams that have played it are
no
already
es un mal
eliminated
juego de
from the
Morph.
tournament. It would be good, though. It would be fun. Nice to see new heroes on the playoffs.
I just look at
El
this
Morph
and I'm like,
estompea
Dragonite,
a la
man, this
Legion
hero
Commander.
doesn't die here because it's a flex pick for Liquid.
El
as
Enchantress
I
Sí
do like
le,
that
le gana la
Peruviano
línea al
Phobos
Sky.
dice ese último draft de Talon olía al draft de Egg, solo que con otros players, e irónicamente, bien ejecutado. ADG evolucionado Talon. Al final, es igual que Egg, ganará equipos de
Al final es igual que Eje, ganar equipos de peso. Sí, más o menos. Ah, sí, pidieron Londroid. Punto para Fear, punto para
So it's very
Chi.
good in Storm against the lane. I actually think Nisha might play this, because it is good versus Storm. He's very tanky, hard to kill in a Chronosphere. Skywrath, what do you do to him? Like, you try to silence his main hero, he just hits you with the bear, he full heals right away, you die in a couple hits. You get dueled, same situation. The bear is continuously healing you. It is just hard counters all four of these heroes right now.
Yeah, when you transform, you get like 33% magic resistance to your hero, and you get a crap load of HP. So basically, any magic nuker is not happy trying to burst you.
Right.
And then against physical damage heroes, you wait till 25 minutes, you buy 4 Wraith Bands, and you're like, okay, now I just have 40 armor. So if you are tanky against the heroes they're dealing with, if they don't have pure damage or something like that, then yeah, you're just very difficult to kill.
Yeah, and you're just going to always place your bear in a situation where your bear and your hero shouldn't get chronoed. So even if your real hero gets chronoed, as long as your bear is hitting something, you're just life-stealing throughout the entire chrono duration.
Yeah, looks really good for Lone Druid, and they're looking for position 5 on side of Talon. So that's, I don't know if that pick can fix it. Maybe, you know, some Witch Doctor against
Witch
Lone
Doctor?
Druid. Yeah, that doctor.
Oh, okay. Haven't seen him while since solo.
It looked kind of fine as like some Undying substitute with like blood grenades and winning the lane kind of, but it could work decent against a Darkseer for sure. Keep the Void fully healed, don't get him kicked out of his lane as fast.
So Talon Esports, of course, have to pick first out of this phase here. What do they need to do to still recover their draft here, given what they have? Something that'll deal with both Lone Druid and scale with the rest of the team.
I mean, they've picked all 3 cores. There's no support. I mean, you did mention the Witch Doctor. It is pretty annoying for the Lone Druid, but it's not the same matchup as before where it's unplayable. I don't think there's any support that just deals with Lone Druid. It mainly comes from cores.
Maybe, with like Disarm, the good in lane against Darkseer.
I mean, since they added the Shard, like, you just save your Savage or you take off the Disarm right away, so, like, I'm not super threatened by that. The most annoying thing for Lone Druid are things that kite the bear. So like, you can think of things like Winter Wyvern, but no, not really. I guess it just has to be Witch Doctor as an annoying support. It is an old counter as well with Faceless Void. I guess AA was another one where you can actually just chrono the real hero, make sure he doesn't get the life steal, and you can actually potentially burst him. So
Lich posición 5 puede ser muy bueno.
Not many.
What if they go like Enigma 5 or something like that?
Ganaron Razor.
Yeah, I mean, you got
it's fine as long as the lane is okay against the Darkseer. But once again, I still don't think... This is why I said it's a perfect Lone Druid game. I don't think there's any support that's going to be like, wow, this Lone Druid pick sucks now. But they're going to ban supports anyway, because that's what you need on town, right? So they're going to ban something that's good against it. I think the Witch Doctor makes sense. The AA, I think, was the one that, you know, you have a Faceless Void. It always makes sense to ban that hero.
Of the heroes left that we have for the 5 position of Talon, Silence has just been removed. ET is not in the pool anymore. It's only really Enigma and Rubik that have been played by Ollie that are still in the pool right now. Neither of them feel amazing, but I guess Enigma, like Perch saying, is probably one of the better ones.
I think he might need to play something different. I did mention Oracle Witch Doctor, just to have something at least against the Lone Druid, because other heroes he's not really afraid of. Maybe I'm not seeing that hero, but looking at 4 versus 4 right now, I do like what Team Liquid drafted, and they're going to have the last pick. So far, Team Liquid, they have utilized this last pick pretty damn good.
Okay, they're just going to give Storm more mana.
Yeah.
We saw
Peruviano Phobos
who's the other
dice
mana
esas
giver? Colo
derrotas
got
que
banned
ha
second
tenido
phase, so similar
Gladiators
vein.
son
Can work
anímicas.
decently well
Ahora
with
se
Legion
viene la
Commander as
crisis
well, so it's got
existenciales.
some...
El cuestionarse si su era juego era el más óptimo. Como dijo el cabezón, jeje debió per.
O sea, lo de Gladiators, sí vi la partida. Esta. Ah, no sale acá. A ver si sale en... Dota buff. No sale tampoco la de Gladiators contra Talon. Not found. Qué error. Está bugueado. Creo que Talon entiende que el Snap tiene que jugar con... Tiene que ser habilitada por supports en el mid game. Y sí tenía el Clockwork para jugar. Los equipos que no juegan con Snap Clock pierden partidas. Lo que pasa es que no tenían teamfight, no tenían catch. Acá tienes el clock. Robbie Keeper no me parece tan bueno dúo de supports. Como que no pueden jugar con el Storm. No juegan bien con Storm, no juegan bien con Underlord. Con el Underlord, ok. Pero con el Storm se cae mucho el mid game. Además el Darkseer también es bastante bueno contra el Morph. Solo en la línea es fuerte el Morphling, pero después, una vez que el Darkseer saca el cetro, es muy jodido.
Counters. You let it through, which you guys tend to do. You let the good things through, and then you counter it. You banned it this time. Was your take on game one?
El coach de Talon.
Try to deal with it?
I don't know. We didn't have a whole lot of time to think. I think they're very good with it. We can just play a different draft and see how that goes, yeah.
Okay, and the first two picks, you picked two cores. Kind of unusual. Is this something that's like five-head strategies going on against Team Liquid, or would you do this in another series?
I think we've done it yesterday too, didn't we? I don't know. I can hardly remember. But, I mean, we like the good heroes. You know, we just pick it. People feel confident. Play the game, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see if confidence is what matters in this game with our two confident casters, Kezu and Sunsfan.
Thank you very much. Game number 2 underway between Liquid and Talon. And we have some juicy picks to talk about. My goodness. After a very, I want to call it a weird game number 1. It was extremely slow, very much not the case for the rest of the games that we've seen in this tournament. So kind of an aberration of sorts. This time, I think we're going to see a lot of action as let's talk about the bounty rune situation as per norm. Jabs, gets stunned, gets off the overwhelming odds, trying to take out Insania, but he's the one surrounded, and he's the one that will be eventually brought down. Pops a Fairy Fire, but the first blood will still go to Insania in the end.
Tried giving it to Mikko. I think he missed on the high ground, as Insania will end up taking this first blood. We saw this yesterday from them as well, where they have this Darkseer. They leave Zai for like the first 30 seconds alone. Foxy helps his team to eventually get this first blood, but we've got ourselves a Liquid Lone Druid that fear darkness. He called it.
Fear is actually a god.
He's a god.
That was, I mean, it's been picked twice in this tournament, so basically not at all.
¿Quién gana acá? El Lone Druid terminó siendo medio. Creo que la última vez que jugó Liquid el Lone Druid medio perdió. Lo voy a meter a quién le meto, a ver. Esports. Mapa 2. La draw es bastante greedy. Acá tienen Io, Storm. Los dos tienen lo suyo, pero... que Talon cometió un error grave la pelea pasada, que sí es un error grupal, no fue individual. Por Japs. O sea, Liquid básicamente es su misma strat, ¿no? O sea, activar minuto 20 y a pushar. Draw es bastante greedy. Por draft debería ganar Talon para mí. No voy a meter a Liquid. A mí me gusta más el draft de Talon, para ser sincero. Me parece que Liquid ha perdido con el mismo draft y he visto muchas draws últimamente perder contra el Void. Pero creo que Liquid ha jugado bien a sus timings la partida pasada. La partida pasada la jugó perfecta, ha jugado súper limpio, todo. Súper clean. Estoy yendo a Liquid de nuevo.
Will be next. Oh, he's going to get linked up by Ollie, though, making his transition over through that gate, but it's still too much damage as Mickey will secure another kill, and now the Impale onto Ollie. Things are just falling apart early game here for Talon, and another kill will go the way of Liquid. Double kill for Mickey. My goodness, I was not expecting a start this good for the Liquid side.
But this is some open AI gameplay currently. You leave your Zai up top, who now has a Vanguard, so he's A-okay. There's going to be a lot more pressure coming through now from both your safe lane and the mid lane. It's Nisha, level 6, Shield Rune. We've got the Bear with high level, so Mikoto's tower probably going to get slowly whittled away, but perhaps they will look to play through him. I mean, Mikoto did a good job. The fact that he did get level 6 in equal timing, yeah, very big for Talon.
Highest amount of assists at 6 minutes.
I mean, he's been everywhere.
He has.
Been top, mid, bottom, bottom again, mid again, bottom again, now back to top.
Zai getting free farm despite there being 2 members of Talon here. They're not really able to do much. Boxy will likely just sit for that Wisdom Rune to make sure that there's no stealing shenanigans. That's one way that Talon could try to get back in this game, but we can see on the minimap they're not really making their way over there at all.
Talon need minute 10, I think. Like, you need more levels. Like, you're gonna need some Skyref ult come out, which is generally gonna be like minute 9, minute 10. So the Wisdom Rune is definitely important, and this is why Lone Wood is so annoying in Storm. You can't really gank the Lone that easily, and if you ever leave the lane of Storm, your tower just gets chopped out.
Hasta el final.
Right now,
Sí, y no me quedo dormido.
Tier 1. Okay, what's the itemization from Lone Druid in these days? Like Mask of Madness, something like that on the Bear?
It's just Mom Desolator, right? I think you just Mom Deso, you pace up the game.
Then AC or something like that?
Something like that, just sounds good to me.
Basher, of course.
Dice add some sound alerts.
Makoto is level 6 now. We can see Boxy.
Good deep
relatively close by to try to get off an Impale or Hex.
They can just take this tower without any commit.
Yeah. Just the Bear and a Tomato working together to damage this tower. Even Zai makes his way over, so maybe trying to force a lot of mana usage on this Storm to get away, and Zai coming in from the backstab situation. Makoto zips to the other side. All he's going to connect as well. 23 Savage with an early chrono onto 3. Do they have the damage to take out Zai? There's a back wall to follow, though. They do lose their Darkseer, and Talon able to disengage. So Liquid losing a valuable member. They will likely get the tier 1 anyway, but not exactly the way that they drew that up.
Good rotation from 23 and Talon there. You were going to lose this tower, so getting a chrono out and getting like a turn kill on Zai, which honestly I thought it was going to be way harder for them to kill him. So good kind of punchback, but still got a laning issue here. This Liquid Mickey Drow Ranger, he's just pumping all these arrows into jabs.
All right, I think the question that everyone is wondering in chat right now, is this a good Glacier game?
Yes.
Okay.
You will see it, of course, with the Tormentor being taken. That's funny.
You need like 4 Tormentors to get that, I think. And Insania now making his way to the top lane, along with Mickey. You see 23 Savage forced out completely. Not quite finished with his Mask of Madness yet.
No TP yet, as Liquid, very similar to game 1. They're going to be the ones to pace up the game here, and Talon don't really have any way of stopping them. Their deep push is non-existent. Like, Legion Commander doesn't have a long-range Q anymore, it's only around yourself, so what is really gonna be stopping Liquid here to just run down on the map?
Stupendous. And Zai taking some stacks here. 23 Savage will just have to TP out, so wasting a lot of time. And you're right, in terms of like defensive capability, they don't have a whole lot. I mean, for them, I think the best defense would be offense with the likes of Jabs once he picks up his eventual Blink Dagger.
Yeah, Talon need to play an open map, try to push as many lanes as possible, and look for pickoffs later with Storm Zip into the Mystic Flare, like try and get some kills that way, and play the map with this relocate. Because there is no 5v5 fighting into Liquid. It is not possible. You need to catch him off guard and delay this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's already a 4K lead for Liquid. We're seeing that Jabs actually builds his Blade Mail first, so delaying the Blink Dagger. So that will likely delay any action coming from Talon.
They can still smoke through Mikoto, so him getting this DD rune is very big with the current state of the map. Looks like Liquid want to go down bottom, or at least help Nisha a little bit. So breaking some smokes around the map, while Boxy is going to be able to sap some experience in the mid lane. I could see Talon go for a smoke after Q gets his level 6 here on the Skyref up top.
Yeah, the Mystic Flare is going to be pretty
needed.
vital for them to actually get a kill.
They go without it for now with the DD, but if Nisha just pops R, he will not be dying to these 3 heroes, I think, unless 23 maybe reinforces very early on.
Yeah, Bear right now has Phase Boots, Mask of Madness. As Insanius gets
Boxy's
caught by
here.
the storm, but the instant hex from Boxy's there into the impale. Can they get the root? No. Makoto zips away. Now the relocate.
It looks like Ollie will have to pay the price.
Well, he does have a link in jabs, but Boxy is there to counteract it. Impale. And the death for the IO. Now a tier 1 tower will be focused by Liquid and likely taken for free.
Well, next tower on the map as while they're taking the tower, even pushing out 23 from his own triangle. And I guess it ain't his own anymore. Gonna go back up to a 6k gold lead. I mean, the name of the game for Liquid. Take all these outer towers, minute 15, Dire Roche, very likely on the deck. You get the Deso and you go for tier 2s.
Yeah, he's only one Mithril hammer away from that Deso on the bear. That thing is looking quite scary indeed. And like you said, the Roche can come pretty early as well. Like, they can get every objective, including the Tormentor, if they want. But of course, we know that Liquid do not. So don't ask about the Tormentor again, because stop bringing it up.
I'll bring it up. 5 minutes. That's jab. Yeah, you've just... Okay, so he's got the Blademan to what? Help him farm some of these Ancients? But even if Mickey is just around, if they jump Nisha...
He can't even take this.
Yeah, he's going to have to keep pulling them out and around. Tormentor, not available.
Walking over the corpse of the Tormentor from the last game.
They see Mickey on this ward, but how do you ever make a move? Like, you need... Makoto needs to be smoked with Q at some point if they do find an opening, and then Ollie like comes in with a relocate. Until then, all Talon can do, play an open map and try to get to this late game. Or even just later stages of the game. There's also a pipe going to be coming out on Darkseer, so you cannot fight into this Liquid ball.
Yeah, absolutely not. And what exactly, oh man, this blink, it's just, I feel like it's so needed on jabs. He just hasn't been able to find the farm so far this game. He's bottom net worth of all the cores.
Yeah, if he can try to slowly get there, as of course he's, yeah, not really the closest, but as long as the game is staying like this, they're doing okay. But we've seen this in game 1. Game slows down a little bit from like, what, minute 12 to 15. But then you get some of these major items, you get this Deso on the bear, and this game will ramp up very quickly.
Indeed. Insania getting close to finishing his Force Staff for the eventual Hurricane Pike, which we've talked about this before, but Chronosphere from 23 Savage. There's the Mystic Flare. First of the game, I do believe, relocate a bit late. They lose their Lion from the Liquid side.
No, Talon will take that. Like, sure,
Ok, Liquid también ha drafteado normal, ¿no?
Be more confident about taking Roche, but Talon, there's no fighting into them anyway, so you might
Es todo mental, nomás.
to get some of these kills.
Insania.
Liquid tiene ese pickpocket de Lone Druid y de Push.
Down, is that, I mean, how big of a spell is that for Liquid to even care about at this point?
I actually think Liquid don't care. Yeah. Like, they know that at this point, Talon can't really find them, as Insania may have overstepped his welcome.
Gonna get stunned up.
Mark of Courage.
Pretty damn. Every game you have to
Para la gente que tiene tiempo ya sabe cuáles son los counters de cada héroe.
The Deer. You're super tanky, do a ton of damage.
Cuáles son los picks óptimos también.
23 Savage getting forced out again.
This is a bit annoying. Only 3 levels in a time walk, as Nisha will continue to chase perhaps a little bit here. Forced to pop the mask.
Boxy's going to be spotted by Makoto, who doesn't have a whole lot of mana to work with, but will be enough with that Mystic Flare from Q. So able to find a couple kills now onto Boxy, who's been a thorn in their side from the beginning of this game.
Well, Talon doing some good stuff on the map, and also, like, we kept talking about Jabs' Blink earlier. He's getting closer now. As you know, he's just getting to chill bottom all the time. Looks like Boxy wants his team to kind of speed it up, as he's drawing this arrow up to top like 3 to 4 times now. The Deso is about to come out on Nisha as well, and I don't blame him. Talon have no way of fighting you head on.
Yeah. Phylactery on Q, by the way.
More did the damage.
Cool. Love that. Makes Ancient Seal do damage and slow.
This could be cool for Talon. They know it's hard to defend the top tier 2, but they're waiting on the mid lane to see if someone will show. But Mickey with some very good patience.
Yeah, one gust onto Mickey could spell doom, but Ollie's there to link him up. Multi-shot.
Gotta get
do a decent amount of damage. There's a relocate coming out. So Makoto will be safe, and this gank not successful from the Talon side. And there's the blink. That is what we've been waiting for Jabs. And I feel like they have to get good value out of this item.
Yep, we've got the Blink Blade Mail, of course with the Mystic Flare follow-up, but they still need to be careful about how you jump in. Like, let's say you jump in a bit too much, there comes the Pipe Aura, some Vacuum Wall, and you just get clamped down by this Deso Bear. Still not the easiest task. They are smoking up though.
Yep, Talon are on the way. I don't think they're gonna make it though. This Bear. That Mask of Madness, maybe they will.
I think they'll make it. And they are
Okay,
quite
though.
low on some of these heroes.
Yeah, he goes into the pit as well. It's going to speed it up. 23 Savage had his Chronosphere. This is a really important fight. Insane gets spotted first, though, but there's the Gust on the 23 Savage with the wall as well. 23 Savage gets vacuumed in and dies. And just like that, Talon will have to concede the Roche. Now, Jabs, linked up by Ollie, will be able to get out. So only one kill, but it's probably the most important one that Liquid can find, and that should be a freebie.
Back to pushing lanes here for Talon, as Insania came in for pretty nice and clutch timing on the gate and just finds 23 Savage. There's definitely room for failure there, but it's going to be an easy Roche at the end of it all.
Nisha will take it.
Do you know what line box he just drew?
No.
Bottom into the Tormentor.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll believe it when I see it. It's 3 minutes away. Aghanim Scepter online for Mickey. So it has that hypothermia, which is really good this game against the Legion Commander, against the IO.
Really good. Yeah.
Lowering all that regen.
Will rebuy his Dragonlance later. Also definitely hoping to pick up a Grove Bow as Philosopher's Stone on Lone Druid. Very happy about that one.
Yep, true.
Probably the only core in the game that benefits as much. Maybe Enigma.
Yeah, no doubt. Remember back in the day when this was the worst Aegis carrier in the game, the Lone Druid. The bear would die with you. No longer, though. It's a separate entity as Insania is spotted out. Gets off his heel.
I think they need Q for this, right?
Now there's a TP coming in the form of Boxy. Mickey's here as well. Gust onto just the Storm.
They'll have to look for the reload.
The Impale. Ollie does have his ult available. Uses it a little too late, though, so Makoto just drops casually.
That's going to be a follow kill, and in the meantime, look at the big bad bear.
Yeah, he already took the tier 2. And now we'll be able to poke at the high ground if they want. I'll go for the eventual Tormentor in 2 minutes that we'll continue to mention for no reason. Impale, Gust, another kill the way of Liquid. They are stomping in game number 2. This is nothing like their last matchup that went 3 games, super epic. It has been all Liquid all day today.
6k building damage at 18 minutes. I mean, he's just going to keep racking up records because what is going to stop him from hitting these towers? He's even got the Drow Aura for his main hero to hit, which it doesn't matter that much, but just adding more insult. Injury to insult. I don't know how the saying goes, but
yep,
you know what
something like that, yeah. You injured your insulter, I think is what you're trying to say. Crimson Guard now up and running. That's going to make it even more difficult for Jabs to get a kill with the duel. I mean, have we seen a duel this game? Literally, has he cast a spell once?
He has not.
And now the tier 3 is starting to get pounded on by Liquid, already at half HP. My goodness, they push so fast. You can see the pings coming out on Mickey. That's who they want to try to kill, but the bear is the real problem. There's the big Chronosphere from 23 Savage with the Mystic Flare, but it's not going to be enough damage. Crimson Guard comes out now, big back wall onto basically everybody from Talon. The Gust to follow. There's the duel onto Mickey. Does he have enough damage? Yes, with the right click from Makoto, who's now completely out of mana, trying to walk it off, but now the bears actually completely ignore them. That's what you're supposed to do in the wilderness as well. Ignore the bear, let it hit the buildings instead. In real life, that's usually trash cans. This time around, it's the melee racks, though, much more important. And just like that, Liquid gonna get a full set.
I mean, Talon have no more tempo now in their spells. You had to expend all of your spells to...
Chapeo 1.70 nada más. Estuve a 10 segundos de chapar 1.90. Pero todavía la pueden voltear. Bueno, ya me quito ya. Sí me dio sueño. Vamos, gente, sorry. Voy a dormir. Chévere por ver.